All right, you maggots, listen up. I went to do the Discriminator coil to recap it. Every cap in it is bad. Now, just like the BFO, I thought they were paper caps, but they're actually um, mica caps. And mica caps, when you worked on a radio years ago, used to be a given. It would be a good capacitor. It wouldn't be leaky. Once in a while, one would fail, but you wouldn't have a radio where every single one of them was leaky. And in this case, they are. And I found that to be true on the National NC57s. The ones in the BFO section, all three of them were bad. So you can't trust any of the mica capacitors in this radio. The little tiny white ones that look like a soda straw, those are still good, but almost every cap in this radio is going to be bad. I haven't got into the IFs yet. I'm expecting bad ones in there. You know, the radio does work. It works pretty damn good. But I'm realizing the same kind of capacitors that are in the BFO are also in the Discriminator. Now, this is the Discriminator coil. Let me see if I can point at it without it going out of focus. All right. Under here, right up in here, there's a cutout piece of metal which becomes a clamp. There's a 100 picofarad cap there. That 100 picofarad cap comes out to a wire by itself, goes down to the bottom to another 100, and then that 100 comes up to the coil. The top coil is the one with the center tap, and across the outer windings are two 100 picofarad caps that are tapped with a 22 picofarad cap. So I'm giving you some of the basic what the hell's going on here. There's also a 47 picofarad cap that goes across the bottom coil. Now, if you get lost and you get crazy, don't forget there's some resistors on this board. There are 100Ks. There's a 47K and I think a 4.7K. Use those. Use the coils. Get the schematic out and use them as a reference. But in other words, this capacitor up here, I took it out. It read 470 picofarads. I read it real quick, realized there is a 47 in here, and I went off on a tangent. And I said, you know what, walk away from it, walk away from it. And someone has sprayed something up into the bottom of this coil, whether it was that cleaner or it was WD-40 or some other liquid, but it caused the this unit to be stuck inside the case. Remember, I thought there was a piece of braided wire stuck to the side. That was a piece of fish paper that normally will come out of the can and wrap around this, and then you put the fish paper on before you put this back in there. That is stuck inside. Whatever they sprayed inside this Discriminator coil caused the fish paper to get stuck on the inside of the can. That threw me for a loop. See, I told you this is the radio that somebody played make-believe, and I got like 6 people that didn't like that when I said that. It's the truth, though. The person was trying to get 40 meters to work, and he was getting crazy. And luckily, he didn't do any damage to the cosmetics of the radio. But I just wanted to tell you, when you're doing this Discriminator, they call it a Discriminator coil, you'll find the schematic for it in the manual, but you will not find a pictorial for this. Now, if you deal with a BC348 military receiver, every coil, they show the inside of it, how many turns, what capacitors, you know, they have arrows pointing to everything. Helicopters considers these two modules, the BFO and the Discriminator, to be throwaways. In other words, you buy a whole new one. Now, and we can't buy them anymore, so you're going to have to go in and you're going to have to recap it. There's 4 caps in here. There's 2 100ths picofarads, a 47 picofarad, and a 22. And your landmarks when recapping this, if you get like crazy, this top coil has a center tap. Follow that. That goes to 2 100Ks, and one goes to B plus and one is to the ground. And that'll get you back on track. You know, especially knowing that this is the one with the center tap. This bottom one's the one that's got the, look on the schematic, it's got the 47 picofarad across it. From the, you know, only has 2 wires, and the 47's across it. So that can give you what capacitor to change, what the value is going to be. And like I said, under here was 100. And what I did was I took a 100 picofarad cap, and I took a piece of tire tube from a bicycle, and I made a U-shaped cover for it, so I could put it back under that little cutout in the metal and fold it back down to hold the capacitor in while I put the 2 wires on. Now down on the bottom, there's another capacitor that's being held in by a cutout, and that's the 22 picofarad. So that should be enough to get you situated. But remember, don't panic. It is hard. And at my age, at 72, ohming this out with an ohm meter and following, you know, like this one wire that goes to the capacitor. Just one wire goes to this side. And it goes down, hiding underneath. It comes out the bottom down here. And I'm just making sure I'm in the frame. It comes out the bottom, and it comes to two capacitors. One capacitor is the 100. The 100 comes back up, and it's on a terminal, and it gets back to this capacitor, back to this coil. I'm trying not to misspeak, because this is I will say this is one of the most difficult things on this radio to redo. The BFO is a pain, but this is worse because this has 4 capacitors in it, and it just, for some reason, I got lost, and I walked away from it. I said, you know, let me walk away. And then now that I see it, these capacitors are all bad. I know the ones inside the IF cans, some of those are going to be bad. And these, don't forget, these IF cans, money in the frame here, these IF cans have a AM side and the FM side. This is 455 and this is 10.7. I might be backwards, but in other words, there's a coil here and then there's a coil on the bottom. So when you tune up the 455, you tune the top coil and the bottom coil for AM. Then for the FM, when you tune up the IF, it's the top coil here and the bottom coil. What this person did to this radio was they kept tuning these up, all right, thinking they were 455. They're not. One side's 455, one side's 10.7. You know, a bodged radio. And I know a lot of people don't like me to pick on ham radio operators and that, but I know the guy was a ham operator because he was trying to get 40 meters to work. And I think that's it. All right, that's it. Good luck.